Rapid City is a city divided right now. And now it's not about something like pineapple on pizza or zipper merging, but perhaps maybe it should be. On January 20th, there's a vote coming out that's got people fired up on both sides. And that is the Liberty Land TIF proposed and approved by the City Council. Hey everybody, I'm Tristan Emond with Mindful Living Realty, a realtor right here in Rapid City, South Dakota, the gateway to the Black Hills. Before we get into the actual vote and the pros and cons on each side, let's talk about what's going on in the first place. Rapid City, without question, is growing. We've got about 10,000 people that came to our area in the past 5 years. And with a new mission coming to us with Air Force Base in the next couple of years, we've got Sanford building a brand new hospital south of town in the next 5 years. All of these things indicate that ain't gonna slow down anytime soon. So this vote really is about how we should grow and the tools we use to achieve said growth. Now, over the past year, the City Council has approved a number of what's called TIFs, Tax Increment Financing. TIFs are state-approved financial tools used by cities and municipalities to not only work with improving the infrastructure, but also to bring in businesses that wouldn't normally come to the area without monetary help. So what happens with these TIFs is that they freeze the tax level at the value that it is currently, and then over the number of 20 years, as those tax values increase, this money right here, which is called the incremental financing, that goes back to the city or the developers to help the construction and the cost of the development. It isn't just us that are using TIFs. All over the state, cities are using these things, and every state surrounding us has some sort of an incentive program to help developers come to their area. It's not a new thing. It's one Rapid City has used before very successfully, and according to the data I've received, most of the TIFs have been paid off in an 11-year time period on average. When it comes to this growth, obviously we can't go west. The Black Hills are there. As we go east, we're running into Box Elder. They're doing their own thing. They've got the new runway built for the planes. All the things that are happening over in Box Elder are in place. As we go south along Highway 16, we're starting to see things already start getting built. That's where the Sanford Hospital is coming in the next few years. There definitely is some room on the southeast side of town going south, southeast side there going as you're going up to the dump. But a lot of that area there is flood zoned. So the best place for growth is going north. There are a number of TIFs that were approved by the City Council last year. Let's talk about 3 of them that have caused the most stir. This graphic is made by Team Rapid City, which is the group promoting the positive vote yes on this Liberty Land TIF. Assuming that these overlays are about correct, let's talk about these here. First of all, down here, we've got the Camden Heights TIF. This is going to bring in Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, Les Schwab Tire Center, and potentially more on North La Crosse Street, right next to the interstate. They're tearing down a hotel that's been there for a long time and has never seemed to have a whole lot of business. North of that along East Mall Drive is the sports complex. This is across from kind of the Fleet Farm there on Mall Drive. Now, the sports complex is something that we really need here in Rapid City, an indoor sports complex for all the sports, multiple fields, all sorts of things to be done inside so we can play these sports in the wintertime and also bring in tournaments and a lot of people then coming to Rapid City for the tournaments instead of going to Denver or Sioux Falls. And then we've got the destination district for the Liberty Land TIF. There are multiple parts to this Liberty Land, which not only includes a patriotic presidential theme park, but also things like an IMAX, and there'll be a shopping and dining center, as well as a patriotic themed campground. In addition to that, the plans include a housing development. Now, let's not forget one thing, that with these TIFs also includes all the infrastructure, the things that we really need to have up going that way, which will be provided by these TIFs. Now, the only TIF that is being voted on January 20th is the destination district, not the other 2. The supporters of this TIF are the ones called Team Rapid City, and the argument is, hey, the land right now is vacant, it's not producing much tax revenue. And development doesn't happen without the infrastructure in place. No big box store is gonna come into your town and build there unless everything else is already done. The streets, the roads, the water, the sewer, they're not gonna do it for you. That's gotta be done before they'll even consider coming into your area. Obviously, the city doesn't have unlimited cash to do everything, and this TIF will help kickstart that growth, especially to the north, where otherwise nothing is gonna happen. They're looking at this as a long-term investment. More housing, more commercial space, more cool dining options, more cool shopping options, all the things that people not only want living here, but also want to consider coming to the area. Plus, they'll bring in more jobs, tax revenue for the city pretty much in a couple years once everything's built and start happening. Plus, there'll be a greater tax base in the future. Without these tools like TIFs, Cities can fall behind in their growth because they're not using the tools at their fingertips. If Rapid City doesn't use the incentives, then the developers don't come, then we're not going to have the competitive growth that we need to stay ahead of the game. On the other side, you've got the No Free Rides campaign. The arguments are, hey, the developers, they've got money, they should pay their own way to come here because we're going to be supporting them anyway. You want infrastructure? Great, so do we, but that's a cost of doing business to come into our area. Regular homeowners, they don't get tax breaks, and future tax dollars are still public dollars. They're concerned about fairness. If small businesses don't get tax breaks, why should large developments get tax breaks? They're also worried about the precedents. If we approve this TIF, what's to stop the next one, and the next, and the next? When's it going to end? There's a fear that these TIFs slowly shift tax accountability and burdens to somebody else down the line, while the promised benefits say just that, just promises. No Free Rides isn't anti-growth, they just want to be accountable to make sure that every dollar is going where it makes sense. There are legitimate pros to this whole thing. It is true, development isn't going to happen without it. Costco ain't coming here unless everything's ready for it. Scheels and Target all moved to Rushmore Crossing because everything was in place for that. Cabela's didn't come here without a TIF. It's kind of like if you want nice things, you gotta meet them halfway. And while it's true that your developers probably have more money in general than your average small business, those infrastructure costs are enormous. They're massive. And since we here in Western Rapid City are a little bit further away from everything, it takes a lot longer for things to get here. There's more expense in travel, all the different things. So someone's not just gonna come here on a whim unless all the numbers stack out and they can make sure that it works for them. Sometimes that takes help on one end to make the other end a reality. This will increase the housing supply. Everybody likes more shops and dining. And hopefully if it's built right, it'll provide some cool things for us to do in the colder months of the year, whether it's the IMAX or maybe some indoor thrill rides or things like of that nature, so that we can have things to do during the wintertime here locally. However, it's not all chocolate and roses. The future tax revenue is delayed. That is the fact. Team Rapid City talks about no tax burden to you. And while that's true initially, what about that extra money during the 10, 15, 20 years that could have been going to schools and other things that property tax goes to? Will that then impact homeowners negatively? Plus the risk is shared by the public, including the homeowners that live maybe a little bit closer to that out there. That promised growth isn't guaranteed, and all the things on the pro then just fall away. And once a TIF is approved, it's locked in for that use. There's no rewind button, there's no reset button. It moves forward. As you may have got a feel for in the video, the vote really isn't about the development itself. It's about how Rapid City is going to grow. Are we going to continue to use these TIFs, or are we going to find maybe a more responsible way to grow without spending as much money or providing so much incentives to other developers? Reasonable people are lining on both sides of the aisle, and that's okay. This isn't something to lose friends or neighbors over. If you've got an opinion about this, one way or the other, make sure first you do your research. I'll put links to a lot of the resources in the description below, and then go vote. If this TIF passes in January 20th, Liberty Land then moves forward with its planned development. And we'll probably start seeing the infrastructure stuff start going on pretty soon. If the TIF fails, obviously things aren't going to move forward on the Liberty Land scenario. Now, maybe someone else will come up with a different plan. Do you remember when we were talking about the expansion on the Monument Civic Center? Well, there's a Civic Center at the time. There was, first of all, this huge plan with football fields, and it was just monstrous. People of the city voted that down. A year later, there was a revised plan that was a little more simplistic, a little more cost-effective, and that is something that the city said, yes, we like that. So maybe there'll be something else that comes up in the future that says, okay, maybe that was too big of a bat. Let's maybe try something different here. But I think the bigger danger here is what happens if that stalls and developers then say, okay, Rapid City is not interested in us coming. We're not even going to bother coming out there. Are we going to see a stall in development because they don't want to come out here and work with us because we weren't interested in working with them? I watched a video today about this. This was on the Black Hills podcast, and they had a member from Team Rapid City came and tried to talk about some of the things we talked about here, some of the questions, some of the fears, and I thought he did a really good job explaining where they're at and their points. And of course, I'll put that link in the description below. What's my opinion, you ask? Well, I live in Blackhawk, so I can't vote on this whatsoever. And I've got kind of a mixed bag of opinions on this. My first one initially was like, I'm not sure that Liberty Land theme park is the way to go. You're coming here for the Black Hills. Are you going to spend more than a day at the theme park while maybe while you're in town, maybe on a rainy day? Sure, but the Black Hills is what drives people out here. So will that actually bring people to Rapid City? Or will it be more for us locals to kind of have fun at a different spot. Like an IMAX theater, that'd be kind of really cool. We need kind of something different theater-wise in town. And if there's some indoor places, that makes it a lot better for us local people, like Witiki Water Park. That thing's open year-round, and usually in the wintertime, it creates a little bit of fun for us and sometimes the kids when we go and do that. On the other hand, I think the kind of anti-rich, let the developers pay for their own way kind of thought form is a little naive. The cost involved in this is crazy. Otherwise, the city itself would just be start throwing infrastructure everywhere. So by helping a development coming into town, we're also helping ourselves grow in a certain way. Plus that development right away, or start using some local people to tear down the existing buildings, start paving the streets, that'll probably all be done by local people. I know some corporations, they probably have their crews that come out and do maybe the structure or something. But I'm sure there'll be some local HVAC guys and some local electricians. So a lot of work will come our way with these developments. And then once things get up and running, you'll have sales tax for the city, which is how the city runs and operates, is on sales tax. We'll have more employment opportunities and jobs. In a situation like this, we'll have builders starting to build homes. But because of all these things, I see less downside on the development itself. What's also interesting to me is that nobody had any issues with the Chick-fil-A TIF coming into town. We're even destroying a whole building to put in the Chick-fil-A. Everybody wants Chick-fil-A, so nobody had a problem with that. And nobody has a problem with a sports center. Now, because the Liberty Land is a little bit different, we have problems with that. I don't know, it just seems a little hypocritical to me. I bet if Costco was part of the destination district, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. So that's kind of where I look at things being, really? Regardless of what happens, we all know that we are going to grow. As we grow, we need to grow the right way with the right infrastructure in obviously the right directions. If you are for the whole thing, great. If you're against the whole thing, great. Whatever your choice is, whether you agree with me or not, doesn't matter. What matters is if you do your research and go vote if you're a citizen of Rapid City. And if you're thinking about moving to Rapid City and are watching this video, just know that we are growing, we have to grow, and we're just kind of working through the ways to figure out what's the best way to grow as we move forward into the next few years. Thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing day. And remember, love where you live.